Recording in progress.
Welcome, everybody. This is the Four Brothers Storm Team. My name is Matthew Jacobs. I have a whole host of people with us today. I am the Public Information Officer welcoming you into our video today. And with me, of course, as always.
Hi, everybody. I'm Al Dennis, the Director of Communications with Four Brothers.
Also with us today, we have our Director of Radar. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, this is Austin McDowell, Director of Radar Operations.
And finally, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the
Unit 301. Safety, assistant to the Regional Safety Director.
There you go.
And today we're going to talk about all sides of this storm. And we have a lot to share today, folks. And we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to go right over to Al, and he is going to tell you about the wind.
Very good. Thank you, Matt. And yeah, we got a large storm system going to be coming through. And we broke this down so you can have a better understanding of each part or each part of the storm as it moves through. I'm going to be talking about wind and wind gusts. First, we're going to go over wind gusts through this event. We're mainly going to be talking about Wednesday into Friday AM. You can see here out towards the Panhandle, central Oklahoma to the Panhandle, and the western side of Texas. The wind gust, apologies, the wind gust has already started up. You can see there's some upper 50s. Here's some upper 50s, mid 60s, moving on over into Illinois. There's some 50s, 60s there. And like I said, this is just the beginning of the storm. As it moves through, you can watch these storms or the wind go with it. Now we're getting up around the Chicago area. You know, you're looking in the 60-mile-an-hour range over near
That would be
Notre
northwest.
Dame. No, we're going. This is Notre Dame territory here, buddy.
You're a little too east for Notre Dame. There you go.
But there you go, up around South Bend, Indiana. Around the Golden Domers, we got around 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Down in Indianapolis, we're looking at the 50-mile-an-hour range. Down here around Louisville, again, 50. It's dying off down here in the central Texas area, the northern part of Oklahoma along the Kansas border up into Kansas, into Missouri. Again, it's going to be around 50s to low fit or to the upper 50s, and that we're still in the Wednesday time frame. You can see now we are 1 p.m. Wednesday. Where we at here? Over in Detroit, you're looking at the mid 50s. Still up in the northern part, Indianapolis and north, still, you know, the upper 50s to 60s range. The rest of us is starting to die off. Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati, you're looking at 40, 45 mile an hour. Back over here in New Mexico, it's starting to pick back up. And we're going to go over that part of it towards the end of it, what's going on in the backside of the storm. We'll have Matt speak about that. But you see the wind starting to pick back up on the backside of the storm. We're going to go ahead and advance it on up. See the winds, it's not going nowhere. It's still maintaining the 50s to 60s, all the way up in the upper northeast, up into Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, all the way up through there, through the Great Lakes. And again, still hanging out here in lower Michigan. We'll go ahead and zip through. It's still here. If you're up in northern Indiana, man, you're just going to have high wind gusts for, let's see, what are we? We're already, 36 hours straight in this. Over towards the Cleveland area, you're getting into 60s, still up in Matt and Mickey's area. You're looking at 50s to mid 50s. It's picked back up down here in the Dayton, Cincinnati area, and we're getting back into the 50s. One of our other members over here in the Tulsa area, he's looking at, the 20s, low 30s. And then we're going to let it slide on out here. And then boom, right here it is. It's gathered back up. And the timing of this will fall in line with what Austin's going to be speaking about on his turn. But now we're back up in the mid to upper 50s on mile-an-hour wind gusts. I'm going to do a quick look here at our the actual on ground wind, and the you can see the wind barbs here and things like that. But I'll put my mouse over it and it'll highlight the areas. You can see on the ground, the color you're seeing is temperature. It has nothing to do with the wind. But you can see over here was this Abilene area. We're looking at, I am going to have to look close, 15 to 20 mile an hour wind areas around the Abilene area. Dallas, Texas, you're looking at 20. In Tulsa area, you're looking at around the 15 mile an hour mark for wind. All these winds are coming out of the south, southwest. We're going to zip forward here. Now we are Wednesday night. Still not a lot of very strong continuous winds going on, mainly around the 10-15 mile an hour range throughout all of this area right through here. You can tell the ISO bars are separated a little bit. They're not as tight. We're going to slide forward here. Let's get to around 6 a.m. Thursday morning. Surface area winds is still, there's some 10, 15 mile an hour all the way up. Our temperatures are climbing, and this is going to be the day with all the activity here. We're going to slide around to around 6 p.m. at night. We're still looking at the 20 mile an hour range, starting to pick back up back here on the backside of the storm. Again, we'll discuss that here in a minute, and I'm going to follow all the way through, and I'm not seeing much increase, actually showing a little decrease now that the storm is this far out. And then out over the ocean, you can see some 80 mile an hour wind gust over the Atlantic. So that's what I have about the winds that's going to be affecting this area, Matt.
Very good, Al. And we very quickly just wanted to say everything that you showed will kind of coincide with, even though everybody might not see severe weather as far as tornadic activity or severe thunderstorms. It's all to say there is a very volatile system. Even within the snow and ice, it is very unstable and packing the winds. So next, we're going to go to Austin, who is going to talk a little bit about the severe side of this storm.
So the severe part of the storm is going to be starting out today, this evening, in the Texas Panhandle. And
there you go. There's the SPC up for you there.
All right. Well, the SPC is going to be covering today down through southern, like Dallas, over into Abilene area, towards Lubbock, and all the way up into Tulsa region of Oklahoma, because covering the main part of northern Texas and into the whole central and eastern portion of Oklahoma.
Okay, now I got the 2-day convective outlook up for you.
All right. 2-day convective outlook is we got an enhanced risk from starting out at the Tennessee-Kentucky border into western and central Tennessee, western central Tennessee, all the way through Alabama, portions of western Alabama, all the way to the whole state of Mississippi. And then the slight risk, of course, goes up, covering most of Kentucky, southern Indiana, southern Illinois, southeast Missouri, into Arkansas, and down into the portions of Louisiana. And then on the east side, it covers eastern Alabama into portions of Georgia.
All right, I've got the NAM up for you. Do you want me to zoom in on any area or leave it on the whole United States as a whole?
Zoom into portions of like the Tennessee into Oklahoma area.
I could do Texas into Oklahoma.
Is that what I said?
It's Tennessee and Oklahoma. But I got you. Up.
Okay, so I'm actually on HRRR if you want to switch to that.
There's your low pressure forming right there. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll switch back over. I was on the HRRR looking at it on my side, but
That's what I have up now.
okay. And I'm on simulated radar. Is that what you're on?
Yeah, I'm on reflective with precipitation type.
Okay. So starting now, there's not a whole lot going on at this moment. There's some light rain around Tulsa and stuff, but as we go on later through the day into this afternoon, there's going to be some rain forming around Lubbock area up into the panhandle of Texas, and maybe some discretes popping up into Oklahoma and southern Kansas. And what simulated radar is showing is south of Tulsa, some storms, and northwestern Arkansas. But as we go on into the afternoon, the bulk of the storms will start showing up around 8 Zulu on the 17th tomorrow.
8
Where we're
Zulu
going.
is 2 a.m.
2 a.m. in the morning, tomorrow morning. The bulk of the storms will be a large cluster of storms west of Oklahoma City into the not panhandle of Oklahoma, but it stretches down into like Abilene area, Lubbock, Wichita Falls, and up through that area. And then the later, and also you can go back out to the whole not the whole United States, but pull out a little bit. And during this time, we're going to have a band of showers and rain all the way from Chicago down into Missouri.
I am right now. I am at 8 a.m. Thursday morning.
All right.
Well, 6 a.m. Thursday morning Central, 7 Eastern.
All right. Yeah, we got a line going from up near Detroit all the way down through northern and central Indiana, central Illinois, through central and southern Missouri, and still have a big bulk of the rain in, I guess, the pan of Oklahoma. Don't know how you want to word that, but
Just the main part of the state.
yeah. And which there'd be some more stuff south towards Dallas and stuff near that time. And then we move farther on into the day on Thursday, tomorrow, where stuff will start breaking out more ahead. We'll have some discretes forming in western Kentucky, western Tennessee, down through northwestern Mississippi, and just a lot of rain in this area as well, which 101 Matt will cover later in the video. Then you roll on out, and the cold front will be moving in behind. But most of your storms are going to be around the your discrete cells and stuff will be around the 19th Z hour tomorrow through most of southern Louisiana, down around the New Orleans area, and then up through the whole state of Mississippi into western Tennessee, and a whole lot of storms, compacted storms, clusters from Kentucky into Indiana, Illinois, and portions of Ohio, southern Ohio, all the way up into the Pittsburgh areas. Going to be a lot of rain coming. I'll go ahead and you want
Austin,
Mickey?
I've got you. I've got it right now, Austin, on the large line at the 22Z, which is what was that? 7? No,
Yeah, I got it on 22Z.
5P Eastern, 4P Central.
All right. I almost forgot that. I'm sorry. But at 5 p.m. Central Time, we'll have our main line of storms stretching all the way from Pennsylvania, Michigan, all the rain up in that area, down through central Kentucky, portions of southern Indiana, some stronger storms all the way down through central Tennessee, Nashville, and then down into the Huntsville, Alabama area, through Tuscaloosa, Jackson, Mississippi, all the way down to the Louisiana, Mississippi border, and all the way from into mid Alabama, northwestern, central Alabama. Be really strong storms there as well. That's going to be in the enhanced risk, which tomorrow may change as well. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. And that pushes on. Well, I can't view past 22Z.
Okay. I tell you what I'll do for you. It looks like it's all coming to an end around 2 a.m., 1 to 2 a.m. Friday morning. But where you left off, Austin, that line is continuing to go through that area. And then before it gets into Philadelphia, it starts dying out on the eastern side of Tennessee. And I don't think it's going to make it all the way to Alabama, or at least not on this. But everything starts dying out after midnight on Thursday. It appears on this radar to be weak.
Right.
Very good. And Matt, if I can add something real quick.
Sure, go ahead.
Real quick, when Austin was talking about the storm prediction centers and the enhanced, the slight, the marginal, and the general thunderstorm, if you go back to our video we just put out a couple days ago, Matt and I went over the difference in watches, warning, and we specifically talked about the different categories on the storm prediction centers, what they mean, and things like that. So if you have any questions on that, go back to our previous video or send us a comment. We'll be more than happy to explain that. Sorry about that, Matt. Go ahead.
Nope, you're fine. And now we're going to go to Mickey, and he's going to talk about the winter weather side of this system. Mickey, whenever you are ready, sir.
All right, I'm right here. Think if you could, sir, keep that on the HRRR there and go back to about the 2200, 2300 Zulu mark for Wednesday evening, if you would.
22C.
Yep.
Got it.
Yeah, as we can see here, as this is starting to ramp up here in the Midwest, Northeast area, we have that little area of snow that's starting to build up to the northwest there of the low that's developing. As we progress on into the evening hours here, somewhere around 2200 hours Central Time, we're going to start seeing that cold front or that cold air really start to come down and interact with this front. That is when we will start to see a little bit of freezing rain through the northeastern Missouri, southeastern Iowa areas, right up into the northern Illinois area. And that will continue to progress as this system starts to get stronger. As we go on to the overnight hours into the morning hours, you'll start to see some what will be like a freezing rain mix that will be, excuse me, I'm looking at the same thing you're looking at as we're going along here, but
I'm highlighting the freezing rain part.
right. The freezing rain part, we'll start to see some freezing rain and mix there in the Oklahoma Panhandle area that will start to stretch northeast through Kansas, and then it will start to become a little bit more dense through northern Illinois up into the Michigan area and up through the Great Lakes area as this starts to progress even further. Pardon me. And then as we continue to go on through the morning hours into Thursday here is when we're going to see a little bit more of a pronounced line that follows up behind this storm as that low starts to move up into the Missouri area. We're going to start seeing a lot heavier snow totals that are coming up behind this line. And the National Weather Service is looking at totals of around 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of ice in areas from mid to southeastern Missouri up through middle Illinois and northwestern Indiana.
Would you like for me to zoom in on that?
Please, if you would. So as we're looking at right here, you can see the purples and that are in those areas in central Missouri and Illinois and in those areas there. That's that freezing rain mix that we're talking about. And the pinks that are integrated in there also with that area, that is our ice. And there will be areas that will receive from a glaze of ice up to 1/4 of an inch of ice. As the National Weather Service is predicting, which could cause power outages in anywhere within that area from like southeast Missouri up through middle Illinois and northwestern Indiana. So please be vigilant, be aware of this system that's coming. You could be seeing some powder outages with the ice that's coming with that. Now just to the north of that, after that mixed layer, we've got quite a bit of snow that's coming up behind that. Some of the areas or some of the models are showing some pretty bullish numbers around the 10 to 12 inches of snow mark. I don't think that we're really going to see that much snow in those areas. And even the weather, National Weather Service is predicting like 2 to 4 inches of snow down in the Oklahoma and Kansas areas, up to like possibly 6 to 7 inches of snow in Missouri and Illinois. And then after that, it will kind of taper off in those areas as it moves to the northeast. As it moves off to the northeast, that mixed layer of ice and freezing rain will start to diminish a little bit. And again, on the northern side of that, we will still have heavier bands of snow that will move up through northern Indiana, northwest Ohio, Michigan, southern Michigan, and up into the Great Lakes area as it moves to the northeast. Again, these snow totals anywhere from 4 to possibly 7 inches of snow, depending on what area you're in and the closer you are to that line, to that rain snow line as it starts to move off to the northeast. And then we look for this to eject off into the northeast and cover the Great Lakes with a little bit more of a heavier snowfall as it moves off into the northern New England states there. And somewhere around 6 to 7 a.m. on Friday morning is when we look for this system to be pretty much clear of this area. So again, watch out for especially people in the northern Oklahoma, southeast Kansas, middle Missouri, Illinois, even into northwest Indiana. Watch out for those for that freezing rain mix, for the ice buildup and potential for the loss of power. Ice buildup on the power lines and things of that nature. 1/10 of an inch will add 100 pounds to the weight of a power line. So those stresses, you get up to around 1/4 of an inch of ice, there's a very good possibility that you could end up with power outages in your area. So please be aware of that. Please be ready. Generators, if you believe that your area is going to be impacted by the ice, and you could possibly lose power, or if your area is prone to losing power, make sure that you are prepared. So, and that's pretty much all I've got.
Thank you, Mickey, for covering the winter weather side of this. And Al, if you don't mind, quickly, do you mind if I screen share a picture I grabbed from the National Weather Service really quick?
Yep, go ahead. All yours.
Thank you. My portion of the video is going to be talking about the flooding. I just wanted to give a quick overview of everything we're dealing with right now. Back into the western part of Texas and even into, well, it eventually will creep into New Mexico is going to be a red flag warning. And I'll get into that in a minute. But as you can see where Mickey was talking about, our purples here are winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings. This green, darker green here is flood watches, and this pale green here is flood warnings. And what has happened is there's been a heating along this line here from into Illinois, up into southern Michigan, on over into west central, northwestern Ohio, over in the greater Cleveland and area into southeastern Ohio, all the way up into New Hampshire. We are dealing with a heating period right now. A lot of our temperatures have made it into the upper 40s and 50s, which has caused a lot of this ice and snow to melt, which has made the ground, or with the ground being as hard as it is unable to absorb the excess water. So we're experiencing flash flooding all the way to river flood warnings in a lot of these areas. And it's going to be a twofold event, Al, because a lot of these places are going to get snow, and then early next week it's going to heat up again. So we're just going to almost repeat this process all over again as the heating moves out of these areas. A lot of these areas are going to see snow again. But looking at the long-term forecast into Monday and Tuesday of next week, a lot of these same areas will be experiencing 40s and 50s again. So all of that snow is going to melt and create more of a problem for a large part of these areas. And once again, New York up into the Northeast, down through Ohio and into Illinois, there are already flood watches and flood warnings, I do believe, even into Missouri down here. So you're already dealing with the potential or already flooding concerns. And now you're going to turn around and have the same pattern repeat itself again, which is going to create an even greater concern for flooding over the next 5 to 7 days. One other thing we were going to talk about, or I was going to talk about before we left, over the next 2 days, if you live in Texas and New Mexico, you are under, and let me stop screen sharing now. If you still have the SPC pulled up, we can quickly go over the wildfire risk for tomorrow and tonight and into tomorrow. As you can see, parts of Oklahoma, New Mexico, Colorado, and Texas are either in an elevated or critical risk for fire today. And that will be fueled by, as Al talked about, the winds that are picking up and the wind gusts of 50 plus mile an hour, combined with the dry conditions in these areas right now, will cause a great concern for wildfires. And I believe tomorrow it moves just a little bit south and on mainly will be a concern.
That on the SPC?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right there. Will be right there for Texas, and it'll be an elevated and critical risk for tomorrow. So if you're in New Mexico, Colorado, Oklahoma, or Texas, keep that in mind. Over the next couple of days, wildfires could become a major concern on the backside of this system.
Absolutely, Matt. Thank you. Thank you for all that. That's something we really don't think about. You know, we're talking about flooding, we're talking about ice, and that is the potential for wildfires and things like that.
And that's what I wanted to just show you, how this storm, literally short of a hurricane and an earthquake, really does cover just about every type of weather event you can think of.
Absolutely. And that's the way it's kind of been for the last month, I guess. You know, last week we was doing an update on the snow and ice storm, which had an ice storm that covered about 2,000 plus miles. We jumped on to do that, and we was rudely interrupted by tornado warnings, and these were confirmed tornadoes on the ground that went through Alabama, went almost into Birmingham. We covered all of that live while giving updates periodically on the other event going on. Again, we're going to go ahead and cut this thing short. We will be doing, and we're fairly sure that it will increase and become some dangerous situations. But we will start doing some live coverages tonight if we have to. I'm not sure, but if anything warrants, we will be hopping on doing some live coverage, not only here on YouTube, but on our Facebook. You can look us up on both under the number 4 Brothers Storm Team. And then obviously tomorrow, we're going to be doing that and issuing any warnings that the national relaying, not issuing, but relaying and rereading any warnings that the National Weather Service puts out in regards to these storms, especially the tornadoes. We'll be announcing those. And again, you can keep up with us right here and make sure that you don't not only like and subscribe, but hit that bell, so you can get all of our notifications when we go live. When we go live, that there's something going on that is urgent, and we're trying to do this to put information out there to maybe help somebody. Matt, I will send it back over to you to wrap this up. Real quick, I just touched on two, but if you want to do a quick touch on our social media platforms before we sign clear.
Sure thing. Once again, on Facebook and YouTube for the number 4 Brothers Storm Team. On Twitter, it is at Brothers Storm Team, and still working on our website, but do have, I would say, about 75% of all the information up now. It is at 4brothersstormteam.org. It is a .org. So feel free to check us out on all forms of social media at our website. Contact us. Let us know what you think, what you feel, any ideas, thoughts, concerns, any of that. And if you want a forecast specific for your location, let us know. We'll do special videos, just profiling your area.
Absolutely, man. And that's one of the features we're starting to add into our little portfolio here, is that we'll give you a shout out, get in your area. We don't need your address. If you live in a little town like I do here in the thriving metropolis of New Lebanon, you can just give us the closest city. I live about 10, 12 miles outside of Dayton, Ohio. So, just tell us, hey, I live in the Dayton, Ohio area. We can zoom in on that area, or where, just using that as an example and give you an idea what to expect over a certain time parameter. Now, with that in mind, we don't go too far out in advance because once you get past 4 days, the forecast becomes a little bit more irreliable because there's so much stuff that could change. But I'm going to stop talking because we need to sign off here. And I'll say here that we do like to thank each and every one of you who's liked our videos and subscribed. We really, really do appreciate it. But I am the Director of Communications, Al Dennis. Go ahead, Matt.
I am the Public Information Officer, Matthew Jacobs.
Brandon. Austin.
I
am Austin, the Director of Radar, Director 200.
And bringing up the rear, our caboose, our man right there. Go ahead, Mickey.
And I am Mickey Carter, Unit 301, and I am the assistant to the Regional Safety Director. And don't forget it all, if you like our content, don't forget to subscribe, share us with your friends and your family. And if you want to be a part of the storm community, don't be afraid to let us know.
Absolutely not. Give us a comment on any of our platforms. We'll get you through to the right areas, or speak with the right people, and we'll get you right in. You don't need to be a meteorologist, because we sure ain't. And you could come in if you just got interest in it as a hobbyist like us. We bring you in. We can get you started on your educational path on learning this, and bring you into the team if you so desire. But with that, I would again like to thank everybody for participating on our panel here, Matt, Austin, and Mickey, and everybody who's watching. Have a wonderful day, and make sure to stay on the warm side of the door.